Hey guys, Mayflom here, and you are way up high on my desk. First off, I've got this wire wreath form, and I was thinking that this wire wreath form would work. I'm actually not sure if that's true or not. We're gonna find out, and the way we're gonna find out is I am going to wind. I've got this garland. You can get whichever garland you want. And you may be thinking to yourself, May, why would I want garland? I'm making an ornament wreath. Well, this is why. You want to put some garland in here. And don't worry about it being perfect, but you want some garland in here because you're going to want some body to this wreath. And you're going to want awkward spaces to not exist. Well, the best way to do that is to embrace the garland, because what the garland will do, once we have all the ornaments in here, once all our little beauties are nestled in here, this is going to just peek through a little bit here and there and add a little sparkle and shine. So I've not done this with one of these style of wreaths before, so as I'm filming this, I'm not even entirely sure if this is going to work. What I'm doing with the garland is just looping it through here and there just so that it's attached to the wreath somehow. I'm also going to just twist a few of these twist ties that are on the wreath. I'm going to flip a few of them around the garland just to kind of stabilize so that we're starting to get a nice looking wreath here. And I'm also going to do this around the outside. I'm going to do this around the outside because I don't want to see the brown wire that's over here. I don't want to see that. So you're going to do this, and once you're ready, then it's time for hot glue and ornaments. Step one, you're going to take an ornament that you like. You're going to want a favorite ornament to kick things off. And you're going to want to make sure that you get it glued in a couple spots. I don't put a ton of glue on these early ornaments, and you're going to have a hard time seeing this, but I'm going to find a good spot that's linking to the wire cage, that's linking to the base. I'm going to find a few spots here that really link up well. Add a good amount of hot glue and just wait. I'm going to have to hold it here until the hot glue cools down. Okay, and I'm just going to wait. And I start with, otherwise it wants to wiggle. We don't want that because we don't want it attached to the tinsel. Okay, we don't want to have an ornament that is to the tinsely garland. We don't want to have an ornament that's banking on that. That would be bad. So we just give that hot glue a second to cool down. And then we find another ornament. You might notice some of mine have the tops on, some don't. I don't particularly care if they have the tops on. And I'm going to find another spot over here. Now, we're not going to put a ton of glue on these first ornaments, and I like to find the really pretty signature type ornaments to work first. The reason I like to work these ones in first, two reasons. Number one, I want to make sure there's a space for them. If you've ever taken one of my paper crafting classes, I am constantly talking about start big, work smaller, start big, work smaller. The reason I talk about starting big and working smaller, and the reason that I'm doing this in this particular fashion, is because if you've got a bigger item that you want to make sure you have space for, it makes sense, you put it in there first. Get it going in there first, and then once you're happy with those, then you work smaller. And by the way, guys, I got a ton of different ornaments for this. I shopped at Michael's this time because I was there for other stuff, and I started getting ideas about a rose gold wreath, and I got so excited. And my last tip, because I'm not going to show you this whole process, guys. I literally am just going to take an ornament and pick a spot for it and glue it down. Now, I do like, for example, to take an ornament, find it a spot. I'm just making sure I've got a good spot there. I do like, and I'll show you this, right here I want some glue. I want some glue right here because I want to get these two ornaments stuck together, okay? And I will also add glue on this side in here where it's touching the wire. but it's important for me to get ornaments glued to each other. And the reason is that's going to add to our stability. Yes, we're going to use that wire frame, but you guys saw it. It's very flimsy. What's going to add stability is when we get those third points, when we get those connecting to the ornaments. And I'm going to work bigger to smaller. We're going to start big. We're going to work into the smaller ones, and I'm just going to continue to repeat. This is a time-consuming process. You're also going to go through a number of glue sticks. I like glue sticks for this project just because I feel like hot glue, it works the best. So as you can see, it looks like a lot, but guys, really and truly, you can see how some area has less. This side over here has a little more. All I'm doing, once I got the large ornaments in place, now I'm going in with the medium ornaments. Now I'm going in with the small ornaments. And all I'm doing is repeating this process. I am just finding a spot. Now that we've got the big ones in place, I find a spot. I decide which one of my options I like best. For example, over here, I'm actually thinking I wasn't going to put two different more decorative ones in the same area, but because I already have a clear and I already have one of the gold balls up here, I feel like this would be a good one to put. So now that I am working and I'm just kind of trying to figure out you see how I move the ornament around? This other one might be a better shape fit, okay? And yeah, so the bar is right here, the top line, but then I've got these other ornaments. And what's gonna happen as I pick ornaments, as I go around, like here's a great example. This one would fit really well here. I will put hot glue on the ornament or on the ornament that's already on the wreath, depending. And I will squeeze that into place and just hold it for a second. And I'm just going to kind of fluff the garland that we've already got in here around so that if any hot glue melted down, it's going to stick on that garland and that garland's going to become cover up for us. It's going to help us out. And I'm just going to repeat this process. Now sometimes, and you're going to come up with little hot glue bits and pieces, don't stress it. If there are places where, for example, there's a good amount of hot glue that's showing right there, that was not intentional, what I will do is add a bit more and press a small ornament down. Now, if I come up with another spot where a little hot glue would help adhere, for example, onto this gold ball and onto here, then that's exactly what I'm going to do. Now I've got you zoomed in just so you guys can get a close-up view here. When you dig all the way down, you really can't even see it, but you'll be able to feel where the bar is. And when you go to add more ornaments, you're going to want to just take a moment each time, even if it's a small one. Feel around, place the ornament where you're thinking about putting it. Consider your options. Now, you don't want to overthink this. I mean, you really don't want to look at this and just come to a dead stop because you can't decide upon anything. You just don't know. You don't want to fall into that trap. Okay, and it is definitely a trap, because if you get into doing that, you're never ever going to make a choice. The only thing I really don't like about a project like this is, you see how I'm sitting here and I'm still holding this. You're going to need to hold these ornaments down for a few minutes. There are going to be instances where that's really just the only way. And if you come up with spots, sometimes it's going to be interesting because, like, I don't mind a little bit of the gold and the fluff showing here, but what I'm going to have to decide is, do I want to put a smaller one here? Do I want to put, and this is probably the more likely candidate, one of these shaped ones here. And you notice how I just kind of play around with the position, which ornaments is it going to rest upon, what points. I want to make sure that's nice and stuck down, obviously. What points are we going to need hot glue? And I try to get it right. I do. I try to look at it and really nail those points that I'm going to hit. And then I look, and I'm looking all around. I'm over here. My eyes are over here looking all around, making sure I'm hitting those points and everything is looking really good. And then I just hold it while the hot glue cools, because once it's down to room temperature or close to it, it'll be really super stuck and I don't need to hold on. But while it's still hot and molten and liquidy, things can still slide around. Luckily, this process does not take that long for each ornament. It just feels like forever when I'm going with this project and having a lot of fun and everything else, and I'm still looking, and the hot glue is still hot, so I need to keep holding on. But when I'm doing this process and I'm looking for ornaments, so I need to hold these two while I move around. I just play around with what do I see, what works for me here. What do I like or what do I don't like? And there might be times where, for example, maybe I'll add this little gold one under here. You wouldn't really see it, but it's going to add stability to this one on the top because there's a bit of a gap under it. Okay, so some of the ornaments that you add may be more for overall project security. Some of the ornaments you put in might be purely decorational. I hope that you guys are enjoying this tutorial. This is one of my favorite projects of the year. My parting tips for you. I do make sure that I'm aware which end I intend to be up, just so I don't like ornaments to be upside down and right side up and all the rest of it. So I do make sure I'm aware of direction, okay? And something like this, look, this one will be real easy here on the bottom. I'm just gonna put a good glop of glue and get that guy in there, and that is gonna secure it to these two here. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment there on YouTube or over on my blog. This is just absolutely one of my favorite projects of the year. I have so much fun doing it, and I've had so much fun sharing it in video form with you here. I hope you've enjoyed it as well. And you'll have to tell me, what are you doing for your holiday decorating? Or do you decorate? What's going on? Let me know. I'll see you next time.